Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray, and today we continue our entry level to Megabase, where we are still building our 4K science per minute robotic Megabase grid. So, last episode we talked a bit about the power and how the steam engines will run until our accumulated charge is full. So this episode I kind of want to set up a bit of circuitry to try and turn off our steam engines when we still have power in our accumulators, or at least have some to a certain degree. So let's just steal a few accumulators and go see if we can't do a nice little setup. We'll just let all this run in the meantime. So what I have planned is actually a few things. Let's get some better fuel in this one that looked terribly slow. So can we do that instead? Let's just do this. There we are. It's wrong fuel. So what I've planned is actually two things. One, I want to cut off the power when our accumulators are at full power. And two, I want to get notified, maybe by sound or by alert or something, when we are close to empty or halfway empty or something like that, just to get a head up that we need to put down some more power. So the way I want to do it for now is go down to all our little steam engines down here and set up a small amount of circuitry. Let's just make ourselves a few red circuits and see if we can't figure out something rather fun. So, last episode we talked about this, and what I said there was that normally I do a cutoff power here. You can do that with a power switch, or you can cut off the offshore pump. You can do that just by connecting offshore pump up to some kind of circuit or power or something. But what I want to try this time is do it by cutting off the input for these belts, pretty much the coal input, so we don't have a flicker of power, since that can happen if you cut it off with circuitry. So the way I want to do it is pretty much like this. I brought a few accumulators. Let's just put one right here so I can show you. The way accumulators work in terms of circuitry is that if I connect it up with a piece of red wire, put it onto, let's say right here, the belt, that will stop the throughput, so no more flows. That is because this one is set to enable if anything is less than 0, and it is, but this one outputs an A signal. So when the accumulator is at full power, the 5 megajoules, it will output 100 or 100%, since that's what it counts in. So at half power or 2.5 megajoules, it will output 50. So what I want to try and do is make a setup where if this accumulator right here is below 50, I want this one to start. That is pretty much the plan. So if we do 50, let's just see here, if A is less than 50, it will turn on, so that will activate it. But if we then hook it up with a bit of power, and hopefully we can do this before night rolls around, we will see that as soon as we are above 2.5, the belt should cut off, and this will stop producing steam. That is exactly what I want, for the main reason that I want to save coal if we have enough solar power to handle everything flowing in. So this setup will do exactly what I want. Then I can go down to the next one right here, pretty much just steal this part. If we did the same setup, I can't remember if we did, hooking it up just like that, saying that this will only run as long as this one is above 5, and as you can see, it's not there yet because we're starting to use things at night. And then the last one as well, just take this and put it up down here. So that way we have a nice way of controlling the flow of resources in. And that is actually very, very good. So the next thing we want to hook up is pretty much something that tells me if we go below 50 on these, or maybe let's say below 50, it will play a sound or something. So we can put down a programmable speaker right here. That one we can hook up to our accumulator and say if A is less than 50, please play an alarm. It's not going to be a loud one. You can change it to a lot of different things depending on what you want. I'm going to go steel drum on an F3 since that doesn't make too much sound, and we can get it to show an alert down here at the bottom right. Say I want it to show solar panels and say check power. And then I'd like for it to play a global alert. So no matter where I'm at, I'll be able to hear this one beeping because we are going too far down in terms of power. It doesn't look like we'll reach it right now since we have enough solar panels stored up. But this at least should make sure that we are alerted down here at the bottom. I can just show you how it works. Please change this one to, let's just say 100. That way we'll get the sound and a little alert down here to check power. So we'll just turn it down a bit so we can still hear it, but it won't annoy us. Set it back to 50 since that's also the point for these to start. And that is pretty much what I want to do. So we have each of these. That is good. This one is still running since our accumulator is not full yet. But as soon as we have all of them up and running, they will balance themselves out. Meaning that all of them will go at the same time. So that is pretty much our power situation sorted. Let's just get some of this down so we can see right down here. Let's just get it here for now. Is that a good place? We still have a bit here in the middle. So let's just fill that out. But that should solve our power issues, or at least alerts us to it if we run into an issue where we can't supply enough, and we'll have to put down more solar. So that's just a way to make sure I don't forget in the future and run out of power. Hopefully 50% will be enough for the build I want to do. So that is good. Let's just go up to the last two up here. Set up the exact same setup. We should be able to copy paste from here if we want now. Could add a bit of... oh, that's fine. We'll just let this run. So let's go up top, set up the last one. And that way we have a nice little setup for managing our power. I like putting in systems like that to remind me of things in the future. Since me checking it every episode might not be a thing that will happen. I'm more of let's set up some systems that alert me to whatever I need to focus on, rather than just thinking I can remember, because I know that's not the case since we have too many things going on in our lives. So let's connect you up as well here. Set you to if A is greater than 50. You can stop and give it a small amount of power. Let's take a medium one. There we are. And we should be able to copy this one just up here. And yeah, we can pretty much do that, or just place it down ourselves. Oh, we'll just do this. Should be fine. That cut off. So right here is good. And stop that and stop that. there we are. That is filling up, and that's going to cut off very soon. And as you can see here, we should be getting to the point where all of these cuts off as soon as they run out of coal. So if you look down here, they should all be stopped. Look, none of them are producing except the last one with a bit of coal. So if you look at our power production, steam here jumps down, 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 and then let's hope we have enough accumulators to solve this. If not, we'll get an alert and things will start running again. And let's just clean these up a bit. You can go away there and there. And we'll just get our robots to pick it up. So that is good. The rest of this will also be built by robots, so that is fine. So that should save us a bit in terms of coal and the resource with that. Some of you have also suggested that we should try and what's it called, grab some oil to produce solid fuel, and we might do that at some point, but right now let's just keep it at coal, since I hope that can supply enough. Let's just get still some repair packs. So one thing I also noticed, we have been missing quite a few accumulators down south. This should have been built by now. But I completely forgotten about a little thing up here, just chugging along. And look how many accumulators we have. Let's just steal that. And look, power is already going off because it seems you'll need a lot more for this to handle it. So now we have a beeping sound. Hopefully that means that it will still be able to keep up. If not, we will just change it out. Might actually skip the sound and just look for the alerts down here. Ooh. But yeah, at least we know our system is working, and that alerts us right away that taking out that many steam engines might not be a great idea. So yeah, that pretty much just tells me let's get a lot more put down so we can solve this. But as you can see, all of the steam engines are working again, producing power, making sure that we don't go below our threshold, and the base is still running. So let's just go down and turn off the sound. That is a bit annoying, and I didn't really think about that before building it. And we can still see this here, and that should be good enough. But now you at least know you can set up sounds that way and get alerted. But I don't want that to be a sound that... Oh! Sorry about that little pump. That'll get replaced by Wonder Robots. Or we could leave the sound just to have it. There we go, sounds enough. We are above 50% in the accumulators again. So now we just need to expand down the solar. To be honest, I could do it from the map view, but then I can only do one down. And I want to get it further down first, and then we can start to expand out and do the whole line at the same time. That is at least the plan. So let's go all the way down here and let's expand out. We do have, if we look at our network, 2.7k solar panels and pretty much 1.1k accumulators, and that means we can put down like 10 of these before we run out of things. Oh, you can stop, please. So let's just build a lot and give it time to go. 3, 4, 5. Oh, and then we hit water here, so that might be a good place to turn a bit. Let's turn a bit over here, maybe do 2 rows then. 5, 6, 7. Let's pick up a car. 8, 9, and 10. That should give our robots a bit to do. Pretty much filling up all 10 of these. And yeah, that is gonna be very good in terms of getting more power, because as you can see, we are still lacking a bit, but our robot should fill it all up nicely for us. So if you look at the last hour, this is where we started a few episodes ago, starting to increase power. So hopefully this will give us all that we need. At least we are getting the accumulators down now. Oh, look at that. Very, very good. And then we just have to wait for all of this to be built all the way down. And then we can start to explore more of the map. Oh, here goes the power already. And that might be because we are building a lot more accumulators. But I'll just turn on the steam engines again. And do exactly what I want. So look at that. That is actually a system I'm quite happy with. And then we'll just see how long that can last. Because as you can see, our steam engine has a more like slope like this now, instead of the hard cutoff points we had before. It actually looks quite cool. So that hopefully solves our power situation for a little while. As you can see, we're still kind of dependent on our steam engines, but this is fine. So the next thing we want to do is actually hook up more of our things. We do have reds and green circuits. Might want to set up a cell for processing units. I think that could be good. We are doing something inside our old base, so pretty much up here, but I really want to have a setup like this down here. I'm gonna go down, turn it off. It's gonna be annoying for you guys, I'm quite sure. Because it will go off quite a few times now, and I might turn it on in the future. But, oh, oops. But for now it is, oh. Sorry little robots, it is a bit too annoying. Wow, I'm going through a lot of things right here. Go away. So let's just turn it off or set the alarm to, yeah, let's set it not to 50, but let's just set it to 20, because if it gets all the way down there, then I most definitely want something to start going. So back up top. Let's look at one of the next things we... Oh, let's just fill in the rest of these with Roboports. Since us not having this filled is actually giving the robots a bit of trouble trying to fly around. So that should fill out the rest. There we are. And make sure that we can clear out all the trees and other things. Let's also go fix that little part that I for some reason haven't fixed yet. And let's just do this. Please throw into the system here. So we at least have something that's repairing that. Oh, so many trees. Let's go over here. Let's just start from here to connect things up. There we are. That should be good enough. That looks good. Let's get some Roboports down. And let's continue down this way. There we are. Out of things. Let's just go grab a bit more since we are luckily right next to our landfill. So that won't be too bad to do. We'll just steal a ton from here, since I can't wait for all of it to be delivered. Yeah, that should be enough landfill to fix the rest. There we are. Our car's been repaired since we did have a few robots fixing that. And let's just do this. Oh, not like that. I want to just place it down. Could get robots to do it. But I do want a radar out here, because we don't really have any coverage this far out. There we are. Power will get here when it gets here, and then let's continue down. Just to finish out this little area. There we are. Go here, please. Let's see, we'll have to have one out in the water for it to connect up correctly. And there we go. So we now have all of our robotic network hooked up, and that will make sure that they don't take this long trip, or less of a long trip around when trying to do this. Yeah, we'll get our little radar there. So that is good. How is our power holding up? 3.4. We've built 2 cells. That means this one is starting to get constructed as well. And they'll slowly continue down. That is perfect. Yeah, that looks good. So what is the next thing? This solved our supply issues, solved our power. Hopefully. But as you can see, we will need a ton more power. So what is the next thing we should look at? If you look in here, stone and batteries are pretty much what's holding us up. So let's just expand the battery production a small amount. Let's go up here. Let's also get all these trees cleared out that are in our way. We do have more than enough ways to get rid of them, so there we go. So let's just go and look at our battery production right here. Can we fit one more below? We can very easily. And then we can actually fit in one right next to it. Don't know if we do a second input or this one does enough, because then we can just flip it to go around the opposite side. So we'll do something like copy you to, or just fits in. So what if we do that and just do this? Then we'll see if we have enough to supply it. But that should give us quite a large battery storage as well. And how fast is it outputting right now? Not too fast. It might run into issues, but for now we'll just kind of leave it. So that'll make sure we have enough accumulators all the time. Solar panel is still going very strong. So I think that is actually quite good for this this episode, to be honest. Might just do a few more tweakings. This one, as you can see, still goes below 50 and activates the steam engines, but not so far down that the steam engines can't keep up. But then again, our solar is still quite low compared to our steam engines. Look at that. But that is actually working very well. So I might call this an episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this little first steps into circuitry. You've seen it at the heavy and light oil before, but in terms of managing power, so you don't waste what's it called, coal when it's not needed, that is actually quite nice. So if you look at coal now, consumption, that peaked here when it went crazy, and then now it goes up and down a bit. So we can save some coal, and as soon as we get the rest of these solar panels built, that takes 2 at a time, then things should be better and better every day. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll give me a like and subscribe, and have a look at my Patreon. Thank you so much for you guys that's already done it. It means a lot to me. And other than that, I've been Dgray, and I'll see you next episode. Bye, guys.